Okay, so picture this. You walk into, say, a friend's dining room, and right away, boom, there it is. This incredible handcrafted cabinet. The kind that just screams craftsmanship. Ever wonder about how a piece like that goes from raw lumber to like a statement piece?
It's quite a process.
That's what we're diving into today, the world of cabinet making. We've got some good stuff from RoleCatcher to dig into their career guides, insights into the job market, the whole nine yards.
I'm ready. There are so many misconceptions about this kind of work. Hopefully we can clear some of those up.
Absolutely. So let's start with the basics. What exactly does a cabinet maker do? It's more than just building cabinets, right?
Right. RoleCatcher defines it as, well, they're creating furniture, essentially. Cutting, shaping, putting it all together. It's like weaving wood, almost.
Weaving wood, I like that.
Mm.
And they're not just using those, big, loud power tools, right?
It's a real blend. You need that brute force sometimes, but there's also a ton of finesse involved. RoleCatcher really emphasized that a cabinet maker needs the precision of a surgeon with, like, a chisel, but also the eye of an artist.
Interesting. So you could be using a super high-tech saw 1 minute, then carefully selecting a piece of walnut for its grain the next.
Exactly. You might be using a computer program to design a really intricate piece.
Oh, like CAD software? I saw that mentioned.
Yeah, CAD software. But then you're right there at the bench, feeling the wood, using hand planes to smooth everything out.
Wow. It's way more of a mix of modern and traditional than I would have thought.
Definitely. And that CAD software is a good example of how technology is changing things.
Without taking over completely, though.
Right. But a skilled cabinet maker could literally design a piece with a client in real time, adjusting the size, trying different finishes, all on a screen, right there with them.
Wow, I never pictured that.
Yeah.
So it's not just about knowing your dovetails and your, what are they, mortise and tenon joints.
Mortise and tenon, yeah.
It's about being tech savvy, too.
Absolutely. And speaking of those joints, RoleCatcher goes deep on those technical skills. Like mastering a dovetail joint. It's like a rite of passage for any cabinet maker.
They're beautiful, those joints. You can tell a well-made piece by those details. So RoleCatcher talks about the pros and cons of the career, too. What stood out?
Well, the creativity, for sure.
Mhm.
And seeing that tangible result. You start with raw materials and end up with something beautiful and useful.
Totally.
But it's tough work, let's be honest. You're on your feet a lot, lifting heavy stuff,
Yeah.
long hours.
Sounds like passion is non-negotiable.
For sure.
One thing that stood out to me was RoleCatcher mentioning fluctuating demand as a potential downside. What's that all about?
It's that push and pull between handmade quality and, well, mass production. When the economy dips, people might opt for that cheap bookcase instead of investing in a custom piece.
Ah, I see. So that's where that fluctuation comes in. How does a cabinet maker deal with that, though? Especially someone just starting out, that's got to be tough.
And this is where it gets interesting. That perceived weakness, that fluctuation, can actually be a strength.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. Tell me more. So wait, fluctuating demand being a strength, how does that work?
Okay, so think about it. In a world where everything is mass-produced, like everyone has the same IKEA bookshelf,
Right.
what becomes valuable?
Okay, yeah, the one-of-a-kind pieces. Something with soul.
Exactly. When someone wants a piece that's truly them, that reflects their style, their values even, they're not going to find that on an assembly line, are they?
True. So they seek out a cabinet maker who can make their vision a reality.
Exactly. And it's interesting because RoleCatcher talks about this whole AI-driven recruitment thing.
Yeah.
How it can feel like a lottery for job seekers.
Oh, yeah, with the algorithms and everything, it's very impersonal.
Yeah, and so a skilled craftsperson who can make these unique pieces, well, they're not just another resume, are they? They offer something an algorithm can't, that human touch, the artistry.
They become someone people want, not just another applicant.
Right, like RoleCatcher says, in the age of automation, specialized skills are your superpower. And that's what this is all about.
I love that. So we've got the creativity, the technical side, even the job market.
Yeah.
But what does the career path look like for a cabinet maker?
So RoleCatcher breaks it down into stages. You might start as an apprentice, learning the ropes from a master craftsperson.
The old school way, huh?
Totally. Lots of hands-on learning, sanding, sweeping, watching. You're just absorbing it all. And then as you gain experience, you move up to a junior cabinet maker role. More responsibility, maybe you're building drawers, assembling smaller pieces. You might even start interacting with clients on basic designs.
And that's where a strong portfolio is key, right? RoleCatcher mentioned that.
Absolutely. Your portfolio is everything. It showcases your skill, your style, your ability to bring those designs to life. Like, you're showing off everything we've been talking about. The precision, the understanding of the wood.
Just like you're telling a story through your work.
Yes. And then you move up, maybe become a senior cabinet maker yourself, leading teams, managing whole projects. It's
Hmm.
a whole other level.
Wow, that's amazing. And probably mentoring the next generation of cabinet makers, too.
Passing on that knowledge is so rewarding, but it doesn't have to stop at cabinets. RoleCatcher highlights that a lot, the variety in this field.
Oh, right. I was really interested in that part. It's easy to get stuck on cabinets, but it's so much broader. Like,
Yeah.
what other specializations do they mention? And it's true, you hear cabinet maker, and it's all kitchens, kitchens, kitchens.
Right. But RoleCatcher talks about, specializing in all kinds of things. Handcrafted bathroom vanities, incredible dining room tables, the kind that become family heirlooms.
Oh,
They
wow.
even talked about restoring antique furniture.
That seems like, oh, man, next level skill to bring a piece back to life like that.
It's amazing, yeah. Carefully removing layers of varnish, finding that original wood underneath, maybe repairing some intricate carving.
I bet those projects have some stories, too.
I know, right? And speaking of stories, RoleCatcher made a point about how when you specialize, you really get to tell your story through your work.
Oh, that's cool. So it's not just the skills, you find your own little corner of the craft. What were some of the examples?
Well, they were talking about some cabinet makers who just love working with reclaimed wood, giving these materials a new life.
Yeah.
Others focus on sustainable hardwoods, sourcing everything locally.
Combining their values with their craft? It's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes this feel so interesting. It's not just building, it's building something meaningful.
Totally. So before we wrap up, I gotta ask from your perspective,
Yeah.
why does all this deep dive into cabinet making, why does it matter now?
Good question. It seems like everything's digital these days, automated, but I think people are craving things that are authentic, handcrafted.
Yeah, something different from that mass-produced stuff.
Exactly. People want things with a story behind them, things built to last, things that connect them to the person who made it. And a cabinet maker offers that, the connection, the artistry,
Keeping that craft alive for the next generation.
and evolving it too. RoleCatcher talked about how the most successful cabinet makers blend those traditional skills with, well, everything we've got now. Technology, sustainable practices, and then their own unique style.
So it's really about always learning, adapting, and pushing those boundaries. That's pretty inspiring.
Definitely. And hey, maybe this has sparked something for you. Maybe you're thinking about working with your hands, creating something beautiful.
If that's you, don't ignore it. Go check out those RoleCatcher resources. They've got tips on finding apprenticeships, connecting with people in the field.
Even just take a woodworking class, see what it's like.
Yeah, you never know. Well, that's our deep dive into the world of cabinet making. Hope you enjoyed it.
Until next time.